With the 2023 general election in sight, more Nigerians are showing an interest in the country's electoral process. Not left out are those in the diaspora who are clamoring for their inclusion in the polls next year. They believe there are huge contributions in terms of remittances to the country, an input of about 6% to the nation's GDP, as estimated by the World Bank grants them the right to exercise their franchise. Nigerians in the diaspora say it is time Nigeria takes a cue from other African countries like South Africa, Kenya, some others whose citizens are no longer denied their rights to vote due to geographical location. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in response, says it presently had no laws allowing it to do so at the moment, but the National Assembly needs to amend the law to allow it. But the National Assembly, during the recent Constitution Amendment exercise, rejected the bill. Bearing in mind that the right to vote is central to democracy, should Nigerians in the diaspora keep hope alive that someday, if not in 2023, they would be given the opportunity to participate in the voting process during the elections? Joining us here in the studio is the former Secretary, APC Committee of Diaspora Chairman, and also the People's Redemption Party candidate, Lawal Rilwan Ayola. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Welcome.
Right. Now, when you talk about diaspora voting, it's something one would say is consistent with global best practices when it comes to electioneering. We've seen about 119 countries are said to have adopted this, including the UK, Canada, and even the United States. And now, from our report, South Africa has also adopted that. But when it comes to Nigeria, what really is the challenge here with us or for us?
Well, that's a very good one. Well, you know, Nigeria we are unique people. And whatever we do, we tend to do with all passion. Regarding talking to the diaspora votes, I think this is purely political, and it's about the political class. They don't want it to fly.
Why?
We've tried. Because they know that even when we start getting the diaspora in, they're going to lose. They're going to lose the power. And they really want to hold on to the power. Because most people that left the shore of this country, they learned for greener pasture, not just as tourists. And they've seen how things are working over there. And I bet you, I can't lose any cob on that if I bet you. None of them will be able to retain their seat if they allow diaspora votes. Because they've seen how things are working and they want great representation, not just good representation. And we are having less than any standard we could call a good representation for now. Thank you.
Yeah, but if diasporans are going to vote, and you're saying that they are going to lose, one cannot completely say that all the votes coming from diaspora are going to be for a certain political candidate or a certain political party. So when you say they're going to lose, what context are you putting in?
Well, what I'm trying to say is most people in diaspora care less about political parties. Because here in our country, we're still growing. We're not really practicing political parties the way it's been done. It's more an individual stuff. Individual is controlling the party. As it's going now, when we went for APC, it was Buhari, not really the APC. People are talking now not about APC again, they're talking about Tinubu. People are talking now, they're talking about obedience. They've seen the political parties as just the platforms. But what people are really yearning for, especially people in the diaspora, is not about, it's good governance. They just want a good life, not the platform.
Right.
Yeah, but sorry, just to add to that, the point there is, if they're looking for the individual, of course, that you cannot remove that from the fact that the Constitution of Nigeria, the way it is, we don't have a situation where a candidate goes to the poll by himself or independent candidacy in that regard. Every political party has a candidate, or every candidate has a political party, which is the platform. So how do we support a candidate and not his political party?
That's a very good one. It's an easy one.
Okay.
Are you going to see that? Watch out for this in this coming election. People are going to vote across parties. They're not going to say, oh, because Tinubu is in the APC, we're going to vote across before APC. People are not going to say, because Obedient is coming on board on Labour Party, some people that have no pedigree will get the ticket of Labour Party, and they're going to vote for him. No. Some people in a family, a friend, they're going to vote for maybe presidential, they vote for this candidate on this platform. The next election, maybe House of Rep, another candidate on another platform. Then the next House of Assembly, another candidate on another platform. That is how it's going to be now, based on our own research.
Really? So it means that a lot of Nigerians have become that aware that they are no longer looking at parties, but individuals.
I'm not saying a lot, but many.
Many. Interesting. Let's look closely at this matter of diaspora voting. You were the former secretary to the Committee of Diaspora Chairman. Talk to us some of the challenges that perhaps you were faced with. What were the concerns that were put forward? You had engagements, I want to believe, with the right persons and stakeholders who could enforce this. But what were the issues perhaps diasporans were putting forth to you, why they wanted to be part of the electioneering process, and perhaps in your engagement with those stakeholders who were to enforce this, what they say are the reasons why they were not allowing this happen in the first place?
Oh, that's a very good one. Thank you for asking that. One, people that are remitting a lot of money back home, they are contributing both skill-wise and resources-wise to the development of their country. And they've even left this country to another country for greener pasture. And they're seeing what is happening over there. And they believe the only way they could be involved in this, to get the right people to be at the helms of affairs, is by election. They want to vote. They want to have the right by proxy, at least by proxy, to be able to vote, to determine who governs them. Because our political space now is dominated by business politicians, people that have no reason to be there. That is one. We want to have a good representation. We live how, we know how, and we live in it. I'm from the Scandinavian countries. And I will tell you, people are just existing. They are not living here. We are just existing. We are not living. By the time, then I really want to come back home after acquiring all these skills, resources, network, to come back home and contribute. Because whether we like it or not, all our families can be there. And there will be a time when we have to come back home. And we want to come back to a better life also, not struggling to be able to cope in an environment where we were born. Most of us in diaspora are going to lose our children to this because our children are not going to come here again. Except maybe very few. I'll give you an instance. Coming home this time around, I will tell you, if I show you the picture, I came with nearly an empty plane. Less than 60 people. I'm even exaggerating. Less than 50 people in a plane. But when I talk to the crew, back home, but when I talk to the cabin crew, how come? What about going back? So it's already full. Going back, the people are yapping, or what they call it. The times they are yapping now. Yeah, we are one of those that went earlier. But it's going to be, if we're able to put things right, that brain drain is going to be a brain gain for Nigeria in the near future. Talking to the issue of
having conversation, engagement with stakeholders.
Basically is the fear of not losing. I'll tell you that. There's a lot. But the fear of not losing the power. They are not losing the power.
Give us specifics. You have engaged with them. You said there's a lot. We want to know what that a lot is.
One, that's what I'm saying to you, that it's about power. Once that power is being granted for the diaspora to vote, most of them will not have their seat again.
That's one.
That is one. And secondly, on the technical angle, they are quite afraid that, well, it will be bastardized.
Also?
Yes, that is their fear. Major fear is, okay, it to be bastardized.
What will be bastardized? The electioneering process?
The electioneering processes. They say it's going to be bastardized. Not, they are claiming that, okay, we are talking of the diaspora, but the boundaries, anything outside diaspora, anything outside the boundary of Nigeria, it's not just Europe or any Western world is diaspora. Niger, Cameroon, and all these are boundaries. They are claiming that a lot of influx were coming from that side, and the vote will be more marginalized along certain side, along certain region of the country. The INEC already told them we are ready. But what we are even asking for, don't start from the presidential. I think let's all start gradually. Let's just say, okay, maybe state of assembly, councillorship. Then we start, we monitor the progress and we see what we need to adjust. Then we say to go. But if some of them, they have really observed how it's been done, they will not be saying what they're saying now because they have not been out to observe how these elections are being conducted for the diaspora in different countries. I witnessed like 3, in which I have the videos also. Most of them are quite local. They just stories, they just come around and everything. You sit somewhere and be detecting what could be and not could be. But we have majority of them in the National Assembly, our party. We promised it. My former party promised it, but we never delivered. That was one of our shortcomings. But we pray we won't give up. The diaspora won't give up. It's a continuous thing. There was what year we're at 2017, 2019. We're at a House of Commons in the UK, in which I was a guest, and the now speaker, Bajabi Amela, was a speaker also. He gave us okay, this is the approach. He said it's more of a legal issue, constitutional issue, and all this, and how to get it done. But now we still went for it again. We still don't want it to be. Basically, we've seen it. It's not about the technical, whatever we're saying. It's all about our selfish interest. That is what is happening. But we pray one day we will get there. Diaspora will get there.
All right. Talk to us how organized are diasporans when it comes to the area of political participation and mobilization. How organized are diasporans in that regard? When you go from the premise of saying that if diasporans are allowed to vote, that the government in power is going to lose their seat. How organized are they? Talk to us from that window that makes them that influential to change the course of things.
Basically, in the developed world, it's not about political parties per se, it's about ideology. And some of us, we belong to political party on the side. I will tell you for free, we've not started political party in this country. We have not started. The entire process, we have not started. We are ground zero.
Yeah, but we had political parties based on ideologies in the first.
What
Republic.
I'm trying to tell you is this.
Okay.
Organizing of political parties, that is what I'm talking about now. It's different from having political parties. We have political parties everywhere. I'm saying. But when you join the political parties in developed countries as citizens, though most of us refuse to participate in the political setting. But when you participate in the political party, like I'm a social democrat. When you join it and you see the way everything is organized, you say, oh, there's a need to reform or to re-engineer the way we do politics. Because by the time you do it the way it's supposed to be done, we'll not even be having most of the beast politician we're having now. You earn it. That is why you could see a girl of 21, where people see people 45, 35 being prime ministers and all that. They thought it was just going out and do election. No. You need to pay your price in the party. That's why you could see a girl of 21, 23 in the European Parliament, because they've paid their price in the party. They serve. They commit themselves to different activities voluntarily. You know what I'm saying? In terms of organizing, I will tell you, where we have all the political parties, we have like APC, well organized.
Let me cut in here. I think what he's trying to say, or what he's meant, is those in the diaspora, have they been able to come together to perhaps articulate what their plans are, organize themselves together to make what that impact that they are seeking to make with regards to articulating their plans, such that, and perhaps lobby for the government to look in their direction and see the need for them to be part of the process.
That's
I
right.
want to believe that's what Mike is saying.
Mike, okay, maybe I'm not getting it right.
Yes.
Thank you very much for bringing back on track. You see, you and I, what you want in life, whatever we want in life, basically, we are always in search of happiness. That is the bottom line. You might have different vehicles. In the diaspora, we have different organizations, not just political parties. The social-cultural, professionals, non-profit, profit-making, they're coming together for the betterment of themselves and where they're coming from. When it comes to what we need, you know what I'm saying? We all work in corporate. Some of us the leaders work in corporate sectors. We all know what we need in our country. Because we are living one. It's not an utopia. You are living one already.
Have they been able to articulate their
Of course, we've done it over years. Even with our people have been taken to court. You know what I'm saying? In terms of this issue, everything has been articulated across social, cultural, professional bodies and political parties.
Who took
what we
them
want.
to court?
The UK has done that. The US has done that. Here, regarding the diaspora vote, the US has done that earlier. You know what I'm saying? There was even a body formed. I was involved in one. You know what I'm saying? Doing the lobbying. I was with the former Senate the DSP, Deputy Senate President, Ovioma Agege. He told me at his office that won't fly. He just told me at his office. That was the previous one before even this last one. I could even remember, a lot of us have done so many things, doing the lobbying and all this, but they can sacrifice themselves for their own lifestyle for us. That is one thing I just want you to know. But by the time we have more diaspora and in the house, I think there will be more opportunity.
Yeah,
there
but like they say, yeah, all politics is local. And the idea of allowing diasporans to vote is a platform to create inclusion, which everyone is going to welcome. However, the mechanics of getting there, we need to be able to get the home front. The template has to be right before we say, okay, let us allow, let's begin to open the channel for other people from across or far away from the borders to start voting in. Don't you think that it has to take that gradual process where we need to get some things right at home, especially when it comes to, we just started using the electronic transmission of votes as the case may, or election result as the case may be. So the point there is, if we allow a situation where everything is done manual, and diasporans are going to vote, and then an electoral officer is going to manually record all of those things and transport back home as the case may be, don't you think that there's going to be a huge challenge with the issue of getting the figures right?
Thank you, Mike. I just want to point out something, please. You use one word, all this. The diasporans are not all this. They just relocated to certain places. They're not all this. Okay. They are still Nigerians.
Right.
But if Nigerians, if our resources, the remittances, which is 6.1% of the GDP, could be part of the lesson, but their right is not supposed to be heard. Does that really make sense?
No, certainly not.
Yeah.
That's why I said
and I will
it creates a platform for inclusion.
It's here to rig election. It's easy to rig election here, but not in diaspora. Because there you will know the exact number. Nobody is not the way we do it here that before, the new one that after you're going to sign, okay, they will collect the result, the bag, they will change it. You can't do that because you already know the amount, the volume of vote that is coming from Sweden. It's been announced. And you can't do that. You see, I will tell you this. We Nigerians, see these people, big man showing big man, when they get to the embassy, they start to conform. They start to conform. All these big men you see here, by the time they just, from the embassy, not to talk of entering those countries, they start to conform, do everything appropriately. That is why we can even use the diaspora as a template. How it could be, because you cannot come to the Swedish embassy. We know the amount of result, and you tell us what you're announcing on the TV is quite different from what you're giving us. Of course.
Of course.
The person coordinating it so that, of course, we're going to take it to the EU laws.
Those days are long gone.
Of course. We pray it's long gone. We pray it's long gone. You get what I'm saying? Why can't we just maximize the power of IT? We can teach them that if they don't want. We can leverage on that. But now they are doing the BV NI number. Yes, in the diaspora. How are they doing that?
Oh, okay.
My company got that contract. You know what I'm saying? How are we doing it? The mansion is there. You know, with IT, everything can be checked. And I will tell you, none of them want to be denied visa to advanced country. If anybody involved in that is done, we take them to EU or anybody that is, and they'll be blocked, including the family. They don't want that. It's better they prepare themselves. They don't allow that to happen than allow it to happen and be the victim or be the collateral damage to their own, you know, to their own doing. That is what I'm trying to do. Everything is based on greed and me, myself, and I alone. That is what is happening. Nothing else. INEC said they are ready, but people that are not technically empowered or skilled are telling you, oh, it can't happen.
So where does this leave diasporans? Should they just give up, or how do they intend to press home, or how should they press home their demands as it stands?
Well, I think one of the reasons is why it's part of my own agenda also. That is one of the reasons I'm contesting. Okay. Because by the time we have more diasporan in the settings, things will start to change. It's about influence. What they're afraid of is not what they're supposed to be afraid of. And I think if Nigerians too, back home, can start electing the right people, they really understand the power of what the diaspora could be. That is, it's the skills, it's the resources. Even what we depend on FDI, foreign direct investment, the diaspora, the DDI, diaspora direct investment is even times 4. In 2001, times 4, what we are getting from the FDI, home is home. Nowhere can be like home, no matter what. Because there's a cap, there's a gap, there's a ceiling in which we can be. And there's a feeling you get, a fulfillment, when you are with the people. It's totally different if, as I'm here now, it's totally different. The ambience is quite different from when I'm in another studio in Sweden. It's totally different. You can express it. And that's after going up and down. Like everybody too, an average person, all the white-skinned people, if they leave to one country to leave, by a certain time, they will come back home. Which is by nature is a natural thing. But now our people don't even want to hear when you talk about Nigeria. And why? Because the people running the affair of the country.
All right. In that case, are you advocating that diasporans as a way of, if you have lobbied and you have engaged and you have spoken and you have rallied and you have demonstrated and you're not getting the result, are you advocating that diasporans should start coming home to contest just like you are doing right now as a way of having their way?
Spot on. Spot on. But it takes a lot of sacrifice.
Very good, because that's where I want to go to, because I want to understand how easy it has been for you, deciding to pay this sacrifice. And you know that a lot of people will say, you do not even understand what is going on with us. You do not know what the challenges are. How has
he hasn't been around for so long.
You have not been around for so long, and you think you'll be able to understand how to address our issues? Unfortunately,
people that say I've not been around for so long are missing it. You cannot just stay somewhere and say there's not been a lot. I think on the average, and because the nature of my business also as a consultant and business development mapping expert, it takes me around a lot and come to the country. And when I was the secretary of Diaspora, APC Committee of Diaspora, I come home a lot. The point is this. It's getting worse.
What is?
Our situation is getting worse, and it's becoming an equaling tax for anybody to say, oh, I want to come in. If it's not, you have to be, I don't know even how to put it, because I was there 4 months ago. How many months ago I was here? I was in this studio, right? I was in this studio. After I got the ticket, I went back. I nearly went depressed.
Why? Why is that?
Because of the values. Really, the way things are going is really bad. The values have gone. And without values, nothing can be achieved.
The values you're talking about, is it a product of shortage in governance, or how do you relate the values? Because when you talk about values, you may be talking about integrity, or you're talking about people's goodwill and stuff like that. But how do you relate that to the issue of governance, where you're supposed to provide welfare, provide security, provide infrastructure for people?
You know, all those are the needs of the people. But without the values, the integrity to do it right, we all know, we don't need to be speaking grammar here. We all know, everybody watching it know what I'm talking about. You know.
Quickly,
But I would like to go to the issue, I would like to talk to the issue of coming back home. Quickly. How would they do it? You know what I'm saying? You just have to pay the sacrifice, because we cannot just sit there and think we get it done. We just have to take that bold step. It's not easy at all, but we just have to do it. But we believe by the time...
We have to let this conversation...
It's a long conversation.
Yes, we have to,
Of course, you're around, so we'll be having more of you to talk about this as we get along.
I'd love to do that.
We must thank you, former Secretary, APC Committee of Diaspora Chairman, and also the People's Redemption Party candidate, Lawal Rilwan Ayola, for your time on the program.
My pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
I love to be here more.
Definitely we'll have you when it's time.
Thank you very much.